Hi guys! Today we're going to be talking about Chapter 8 of the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So here the first thing that I wanted to emphasize. We talked about it in the last video, but when they talk about like the trees or listening, it's not just them being paranoid that someone is in the trees, maybe spying on them. It is that the actual trees, so in Narnia, in this world, the trees have sentience, like they are alive. They can hear things. They can pass whispers through the wind in their branches. So it is that everything in this world is alive and vibrant and sentient, and either is on the White Witch's side or on the good side. And that goes for the birds as well. So the birds are passing like little messages to the beavers and everything like that. So when we're talking about Aslan, in this chapter we learn that Aslan is in fact a lion. So like in every other scenario, there are no humans. He's not a human. He's not a soldier in that sort of sense. But he's represented as a lion. So when you think of lions, just like in everyday life, what do you think? You might think of the Lion King. So in the Lion King, Simba and Mufasa the lions were the kings of the Pride Lands. They were responsible for all of the life there. They were very happy towards the end. They were very strong, very proud, very capable. They were good rulers. And you hear the lines of the King of the Wild. You've heard that before. Also, you may have heard, some of you may be Harry Potter fans like me. You know that lions are the symbol for Gryffindors in the Harry Potter world. And they are known to be very outlandish, very strong, very noble. So you have these sort of ideas that you associate with lions beyond just they're an animal. So I think that C.S. Lewis was definitely using that to his advantage. And sort of associating like what we know about lions, and what we as a reader will take that and then thus associate with Aslan. Next, there were two prophecies that got mentioned in this chapter, and I'm going to read them for you. We're going to talk about them. So the first one is on page 85, and it says, "Wrong will be right when Aslan comes in sight. At the sound of his roar, sorrows will be no more. When he bares his teeth, winter meets its death. And when he shakes his mane, we shall have spring again." So we know that Narnia, because of the White Witch, has been flung into an endless winter. There's winter all the time. Winter but no Christmas. So like a never-ending sort of cycle again, like a never-ending series of cold and wet and oppression by her regime. So if we look at this little prophecy, so this is about Aslan. So saying that everything that is wrong will be corrected when Aslan comes in sight, so maybe comes back, or shows himself, maybe decides to fight against the queen. At the sound of his roar, so his roar, sorrows will be no more. So sorrows is like sadness. So when he roars, all of the sadness of the people and the land will go away. It'll vanish. And then when he bares his teeth, winter meets its death. So we know that Narnia is winter all the time. So this is saying when Aslan bares his teeth, so a lion bares his teeth when he does what? When he gets ready to fight. So when Aslan gets ready to fight, winter, this always winter, is going to meet its end. It's going to die. And then something else will be reborn springtime. Winter could also mean the White Witch, because the White Witch is causing the everlasting winter, and she could definitely symbolize winter itself. So maybe when she dies as well. Just keep your eye on that. And when he shakes his mane, we shall have spring again. So his mane of hair. So when he shakes his mane, maybe in a time of like calm or joy. So when he's here, we shall have spring again. So spring will come back to Narnia. And then, so that is the prophecy regarding Aslan. And then there is one regarding the children, the Pevensey children. And it is on page 87. It is when Adam's flesh and Adam's bone sits at Cair Paravel enthroned, the evil time will be over and done. So this is talking about, so Adam's flesh. So we already know that if this book says son of Adam, then they're talking about a human man. They're talking about a human boy. They're talking about one of the kids. So when Adam's flesh and Adam's bone, so a human being, so one of the boys or when all of the kids, when they sit at Cair Paravel. So Cair Paravel, we read before, it said was a castle. So Cair Paravel is the name of a castle in Narnia. So when they sit at Cair Paravel enthroned, so throne is where royalty sit. So when they are sitting on the throne as royalty of this castle, then everyone will know that the time of evil, the evil time, will be over and done. So the evil time will be finished. So those are definitely two prophecies that you should definitely pay attention to. They're giving you, anytime a prophecy or anything like that comes into play, that's definitely like a clue as to what's going to happen in the story. A lot of the times the author will put poems or riddles in to get you thinking. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about is that since that we know that there is no humans in this world, there are instances where they are half human, half creature, like a centaur is a half human, half horse, or horse-like being. So in this instance, they are saying that the White Queen is a half human and half of a jinn, which is like a genie, like a genie in a bottle, like that, from Aladdin. So half a genie. So that can maybe be why they, like when she like dropped the little crystal in the snow, and Edmund got his Turkish delight, which we know he loves. So that could be a sign of her powers. The everlasting winter is also a sign of her power. So she is definitely sort of a symbol of being half and half. And there is a lot of religious imagery in this book. C.S. Lewis was a very religious man. And this is sort of like what he's known for. So if they're talking about the White Queen's mother being Lilith, if you are familiar with that, but that is just meaning that she is a half human, half jinn, so half magical creature, and she gets her magic and maybe some of her unrest. And then we know that at the end of chapter 8, Edmund decides to leave the hospitality of the beavers and run off to the White Queen because she really has him fully entranced at this point and really obsessed with getting more Turkish delight. So Edmund is under her spell. So he has left his family to go and search for her. And we will see how that works out for him. So that is chapter 8, and we'll be talking about chapter 9 next.